Good morning, children. Hearty welcome to all of you for today's session. Come, let's learn English. As you know, we have started our last lesson from our first flight textbook, lesson 11, the proposal. Okay, almost 2-3 pages we have completed. So today, let me discuss the second part. As I told you, I have divided the lesson into 3 parts. So today I will be discussing the second part. So before moving ahead with the second part, I'll give you a brief summary of the topic that I taught you in the last class. Okay, listen. As I told you, the proposal is a one-act play that begins with a young man. Do you remember the name of the young man? Lomo. Lomo presenting a marriage proposal to his neighbor's daughter. Who was his neighbor? Shibuko. So before he could actually convey it to the girl, they enter into an argument about oxen meadows, about their property. So that is what is the theme or the topic that I taught you in the last class. So before he could actually convey it to the girl, Natalia, they entered into an argument about oxen meadows. Okay, only that much we have completed. So let's move on to the new portion. So let me read the portion. It's not true. I'll prove it. I'll send my mowers out to the meadows this very day. What? Lomo says. Natalia, my mowers will be there this very day. I'll give it to them in the neck. Lomo says. I'll give it to them in the neck. Natalia, you dare? Lomo clutches at his heart. Oxen meadows are mine. You understand? Mine. Natalia, please don't shout. You can shout yourself hoarse in your own house. But here I must ask you to restrain yourself. Lomo, if it wasn't, madam, for this awful, excruciating palpitation, if my whole inside wasn't upset, I'd talk to you in a different way. Else, oxen meadows are mine. Natalia, ours. Lomo, mine. Natalia, ours. Lomo, mine. And Shibuko. Shibuko, what's the matter? What are you shouting for? Natalia, Papa, please tell this gentleman who owns oxen meadows, we or he. Shibuko, to Lomo, darling, the meadows are ours. So children, what is going on there, children? Still, they argued each other about the ownership of the oxen meadows. Okay, so let's see the meaning of some new words. The first one is mowers. M-O-W-E-R-S. Mowers means a person who cuts grass using a mower. A person who cuts grass with a mower. Okay, then the second word is hose. H-O-A-R-S-E. What do you mean by hose? Hose means sounding rough and harsh. Sounding rough and harsh. Then the third word is excruciating. Excruciating means severe. Excruciating palpitation means severe palpitation. So let's see the explanation one by one. So first of all, Natalia, it's not true. I'll prove it. I will send the mowers out to the meadows this very day. So still, Natalia feels or she insists that they are theirs. The oxen meadows are theirs. So Natalia feels the need to prove her ownership, and thus she decides on sending the grass cutters at the location the same day. Then Lomo, what? He cannot believe what Natalia says. Then Natalia says, my mowers will be there this very day. She insists that the grass cutters will be there that very day itself. Then Lomo says, I'll give it to them in the neck. Have you seen that word, children? I will give it to them in the neck. What do you mean by that sentence? Yes, Lamo threatens that he will hit Natalia's movers. That is what is the meaning. I will give it to them in the neck means he will hit Natalia's movers. Okay, so Natalia, you dare? Natalia threatens that he should not dare to do such a thing. And then suddenly Lamo clutches at his heart. Ox and meadows are mine. You understand? Mine. So Lamo gets aggressive and mentions in a high tone that the ox and meadows are his and his only. Then Natalia says, please don't shout. You can shout yourself house in your own house, but here I must ask you to restrain yourself. So what is going on there, children? House, I told you what's the meaning of house? Sounding rough and harsh. So what is the meaning of house? Sounding rough and harsh. He yelled, he shouted loudly. Then restrain, R-E-S-T-R-A-N, prevent from doing something or keep under control or within limits. That is what is restrain. That is what she is saying. Natalia asked Lamo to behave and refrain from shouting in her house. She asked him to behave properly. She asked him to speak politely. Then Lamo says, if it wasn't, madam, for this awful, excruciating palpitation in my whole inside wasn't upset, I would talk to you in a different way. Yells. Again he yells. He shouted loudly, ox and meadows are mine. Palpitation, you know, in our last class, I told you the meaning of palpitation is heartbeat. So, he makes a mention of his extremely painful increased heart rate and he blames it for his tone. So even in such a pain, he doesn't stop claiming that the ox and meadows are his. Okay, so both of them says, Natalia says ours, Lamo says mine. Again Natalia ours, Lamo mine. By that time, who enters their children? Yes, he enters Shibuko. Shibuko, what's the matter? What are you shouting for? So on hearing both of them fight, Shibuko enters to stop them and ask the matter. So Natalia says, Papa, please tell this gentleman who owns ox and meadows, we or his. So Natalia asks her father to confirm the ownership of ox and meadows. Then Shibuko to Lamo, darling, the meadows are ours. Darling, the meadows are ours. So what do you mean by that, children? Yes, Shibuko tells Lamo the same thing as Natalia says. The ox and meadows belong to them. Then what's the reply given by Lamo? But please, Stepan Stepanovich, how can they be yours? Do be a reasonable man. My aunt's grandmother gave the meadows for the temporary and free use of your grandfather's peasants. The peasants used the land for 40 years and got accustomed to it as if it was their own when it happened that. So, what is going on there, children? Yes, Lamo questions the claim made by Shibuko and asks him to be reasonable. He continues explaining his side of the story to him and gets interrupted by Shibuko. So what is he trying to say, children? Yes, his aunt's grandmother gave the ox and meadows for the temporary and free use of grandfather's peasants. Whose grandfather's peasants? Yes, Shibuko's grandfather's peasants. So the peasants used the land for 40 years and they thought that it was theirs. Okay, then Shibuko interrupted him by saying this. Excuse me, my precious, you forget just this, that the peasants didn't pay your grandmother and all that because the meadows were in dispute. And so on. And now everybody knows that they are ours. It means that you haven't seen the plan. So what is going on there? Yes, Shibuko interrupts Lamo and corrects him by mentioning that the only reason that the peasants got to use ox and meadows for free because it was a disputed land. So now it is very clear to everybody that Shibuko's on it. So he even blames him of not seeing the plan, not seeing the proof. Okay, so Lamo says, I will prove to you that they are mine. Then Shibuko, you won't prove it, my darling. You can't, my darling. So Lamo again says, I shall. So Lamo insists that he would prove them to be his. Then Shibuko says, dear one, Why yell like that? You won't prove anything just by yelling. I don't want anything of yours and don't intend to give up what I have. Why should I? And you know, my beloved, that if you propose to go on arguing about it, I would much sooner give up the meadows to the peasants than to you there. So what is Shubuku trying to say, children? Yes, Shubuku points out that there is no need to yell, there is no need to shout. Shouting wouldn't prove anything. He repeats the same words as Natalia and says that he doesn't intend on claiming something that is not his and also does not want to give away what is his. So he says it out of anger that if Lamo keeps on arguing about the land, he would rather give it to his peasants for free than to him. Okay, so Lamo, I don't understand. How have you the right to give away somebody else's property? So Lamo gets offended and he asks him how he can give away something that is someone else's property. Did you get the word, children? I don't understand. Lamo says, I don't understand. How have you the right to give away somebody else's property? How can you give, or how you have the right to give away somebody else's property? So Shubuku says, you may take it that I know whether I have the right or not, because young man, I am not used to being spoken to in that tone of voice and so on. And I, young man, I'm twice your age and ask you to speak to me without agitating yourself and all that. So what is going on there, children? So here, Shubuko gets irritated by the tone in which Lamo chose to speak to him. What's the reason? Because he was yelling, he was shouting at him. So he was getting irritated. Shubuko gets irritated by the tone in which Lamo chose to speak to him. So he mentions that he is twice his age, he is twice the age of Lamo and deserves to be spoken with respect, politeness and all that. Then Lamo says, no. You just think I am a fool and I want to have me on. You call my land yours and then you want me to talk to you calmly and politely. Good neighbors don't behave like that. Stepan Stepanovich, you are not a neighbor, you are a grabber. So Lamo, again he insists that his impolite tone is a reaction to what Shubuko has been doing. That is, he was claiming Lamo's land. Who was claiming Lamo's land? Shubuko and Natalia. They were claiming Lamo's land. He called Shubuko a bad neighbor and a grabber. Shubuko, what is that? What did you say? So feeling highly disrespected, Stepan asked Lamo to repeat his words. Okay, so feeling highly disrespected, Shubuko asked Lamo to repeat his words. Repeat. Then Natalia, Papa, send the mowers out to the meadows at once. So Natalia interferes and asks her father to send the mowers, the grass cutters, to oxen meadows at once. Shubuko, what did you say, sir? Still unable to accept what he just heard about himself, he asked Lamo to repeat his words. He doesn't listen Natalia's words. Again, he asked, what did you say, sir? Oxen meadows are ours and I shan't give them up, shan't give them up, shan't give them up. So Natalia in between interferes and she claims to possess oxen meadows and refuses to let them go just because someone else is claiming to be theirs. So she's not ready to give them to Lamo. Lamo says, we will see. I'll have the matter taken to court and then I will show you. So Lamo threatens to take the matter to court and prove it to them that he is the real owner. Then Shubuko says, to court. You can take it to court and all that. You can. I know you. You are just on the lookout for a chance to go to court and all that. You petty forger. All your people were like that, all of them. So what do you mean by petty for the children? Cheat. You cheat. All your people were like that, all of them. So Chibuko, not a Chibuko children, Shibuko. Shibuko accuses Lamo that he is just looking for a chance to go to court just like all the people in his family. So he insists that he gone with the proceedings. So who insists? So all your people were like that. All of them. What do you mean by that, children? Yes, Shibuko accuses Lamo that he is just looking for a chance to go to court just like all the family members of Lamo. Then Lamo says, never mind about my people. The Lamos have all been honorable people. Not one has ever been tried for embezzlement like your grandfather. So what do you mean by embezzlement, children? Embezzlement means theft. Theft. So what is he trying to say? Lamo refuses to listen anything against his family members and mentions that they are all respectable personalities, unlike Shibuko's grandfather who had been tried for theft. So what did he do, children? Yes, Lamo refuses to listen anything against his family members and mentions that they are all respectable personalities. They are not like Shibuko's grandfather who had been tried for embezzlement. As I told you, what do you mean by embezzlement? Theft. Okay. Then Natalia, all. So Shibuko, you Lamo had the lunacy in your family. See how is in the word, children? You Lamos have had the lunacy. Lunacy. What do you mean by lunacy, children? A state of being a lunatic, madness. Okay. So Shibuko again says, yes. Shibuko mentions that all his family members, see, Lamos, all the family members of Lamo had lunacy. All of you. Then Natalia also supports, she also repeats after her father, all. Then Shibuko, your grandfather was a drunkard. And your younger aunt, Nastasia Mihailvona, ran away with an architect and so on. So what do you mean by drunkard? Drunkard, a person who has the habit of drinking alcohol. Then Shibuko calls Lamo's grandfather an alcohol addict and breaks the news that Lamo's younger aunt ran away with an architect, Nastasia Mihailvona. Okay, so she ran away with an architect and so on. Then Lamo, and your mother was humbagged. So he retorts by how, children? Yes, humbug, and your mother was humbagged. So he clutches at his heart, something pulling in his side. My heart, help, water. So hump, who has hump on his back, children? A camel. So like that is here. Hump means a rounded protuberance found as an abnormality on the back of a person. So hump means a rounded protuberance found as an abnormality on the back of a person. Hump. So Lamo mentioned that Chibuko's mother was hump-backed. While he was saying that, he felt a pull on his side and head. Then he calls for help and water. So Shibuko says, your father was a guzzling gambler. So he was not stopping. So he again says, your father was a gambler. A gambler, a person who gambles, or a speculator. Oh, what do you mean by guzzling, children? Guzzling. Guzzling means greedy. So here, as the blame game is on, Chibuko calls Lamo's father a greedy gambler. A greedy gambler. Guzzling means greedy. So your father was a guzzling gambler. Your father was a greedy gambler. Then Natalia says, and there haven't been many backbiters to equal to your aunt. So what do you mean by backbiter, children? A person who is interested in making gossip. Backbiter means a person who is interested in gossip. So, and there have been many backbiters to equal your aunt. So Natalia calls Lamo's aunt a backbiter, and that no one could match her level. So she calls Lamo's aunt a backbiter. What do you mean by backbiter? A person who is interested in gossip. And she says one more thing, no one could match her level. Then Lamo, my left foot has gone to sleep. You are an intriguer. Oh, my heart, it's an open secret that before the last elections you bragged, I can see stars. Where is my hat? So, intriguer. What do you mean by intriguer, children? Intriguer means someone who tricks or someone who deceives or cheats others. Intruder. So Lamo complains that his foot is numb. What do you mean by numb, children? N-U-M-B. Numb means, yes, deprived of the power of physical sensation. He did not have the power of physical sensation on his foot. Which foot, children? Yes, his foot. His left foot. See, my left foot has gone to sleep. So he complains that his foot is numb. He couldn't feel the sensation. So calls Chibuko a plotter, an intruder. Okay, then he says that he has pain in his heart. He adds that in the last election Chibuko was that, but he does not complete the sentence as he feels very pathetic condition. So what happened to him, children? Yes, his palpitation has been increased. So he calls for his hat. Then it's low. So here it is, children. It's low, it's dishonest, it's mean, Natalia says. Yes, he calls his act. It's low, dishonest and mean. She says that Lamo is very dishonest and mean. Then Shibuko, and you are just a malicious, double-faced intruder. Yes. Then again Shibuko further calls him different names. What's it? Malicious. Then what do you mean by malicious? Yes, intending or intended to do harm to others. Double-faced intruder. Intruder means plotter. Okay, so Lamo says, yes, here is my hat, my heart. Which way? Where is the door? Oh, I think I am dying. My foot is quite numb. So here Lamo finally finds his hat and starts asking for direction towards the door. What happens there, children? Yes, with his heart pounding and foot numb, he feels that he is dying. So his health condition has become very pathetic. He can't walk properly. So what he was doing there, children? Yes, he finally finds his hat and starts asking for direction towards the door. With his heart pounding and foot numb, he feels that he is going to die. Then he goes to the door. Following him, Shibuko says, and don't set foot in my house again. Shibuko screams in anger and tells Lamo not to step foot in his house again, not to enter his house again. Then Natalia, take it to court, we will see. Lamo staggers out. So what happened to them, children? Yes, Natalia also tells him to take the matter to the court in order to show that they are not afraid. So let's see, you just go to court. Then Shibuko, devil take him, walks about in excitement. So Shibuko calls for the devils to take Lamo along. Natalia, what a rascal. What trust can have in one's neighbors after that? So here rascal means devil. What a devil is he? Then Natalia comments that Lamo is a devil and is unreliable. Okay, so then again Shibuko, the villain, the scarecrow. So he further calls him different names. So Natalia, the monster, first he takes our land and then he has the impudence to abuse us. So Natalia again calls him another name, the monster. You know what's the meaning of monster? So first he takes our land, then he has the impudence to abuse us. What do you mean by impudence? Impudence means audacity. What do you mean by, children? Audacity. A-U-D-A-C-I-T-Y. Audacity means willing to take a bold risk. Willing to take bold risk. Okay, so first he takes our land and then he has the impudence to abuse us. Then he has the willingness to take a bold risk to abuse them. Okay, Natalia is surprised how Lamo first claimed their land to be his own, then possessed the audacity to abuse them. So she is trying to say that he first claimed to their land and to be his own, and then he possessed the audacity to abuse them. Okay, then Shibuko, and that blind hen, yes, that turnip goes his confounded cheek to make a proposal, and so on. What a proposal! What proposal, Natalia? So what is going on there, children? So in the process of cursing, C-U-R-S-I-N-G, cursing. So in the process of cursing Lamo and calling him different names, Shibuko reveals the real reason behind Lamo's visit. that has been overshadowed by the argument related to oxen meadows. So he couldn't believe his audacity to come with a proposal for her daughter. He couldn't believe his audacity. What do you mean by willingness? Audacity means willingness to take bold risks. So in the process of cursing him and calling him different names like a rascal, monster, villain, scarecrow, Shibuko reveals the real reason behind Lamo's visit that had been overshadowed by the argument related to oxen meadow. So he couldn't believe his boldness to come with a proposal for her daughter. So Natalia asked, "What proposal?" Yes, really, she was unaware about the matter. Natalia asked her dad, "Which proposal is he talking about?" Then Shibuko, "Why, he came here to propose to you." "To propose to me? Why didn't you tell me so before?" So surprised at hearing this, Natalia tells her father that he should have told this to her earlier. That means actually she was unaware about the subject. So she asks her dad, which proposal is he talking about? So he reveals that Lamo came there to propose her. Okay, so Chibuko. So he dresses up in evening clothes, the stuffed sausage, the wizen-faced frum. So what is going on there, children? Yes. He further calls Lamo names and expresses displeasure on seeing his audacity to come there in the evening dress. So again he says the stuffed sausage, the wizen-faced frum. What is the meaning of wizen-face, children? Wrinkled face. Wizen face means wrinkled face. Frum means unattractive. Frum, unattractive. So again he calls Lamo different names. What are they, children? Yes, stuffed sausage, wizen-faced frump, like that. So he further calls Lamo names and expresses his displeasure on seeing his willpower, on seeing his willingness to take the risk to come there in the evening dress to propose his daughter. Okay, so to propose to me. Falls into an easy chair and wails. Bring him back. Bring him here. So Natalia actually, she is stunned at the news. She is shocked to hear the news. She falls into the easy chair and instantly demands to call him back. Bring whom here? Shibuko is not very sure who she is referring to. Then Natalia, quick, I am ill, fetch him. So she tells her father to call him back at the very moment. Okay. Then what is going on there, children? Yes, Shibuko, what is that? What is the matter with you? Clutches at his head. Oh, unhappy man that I am. I'll shoot myself. I'll hang myself. We have done for her. Then Shibuko couldn't understand Natalia's change of behavior towards Lamo. Understood, children? Yes. Shibuko couldn't understand or couldn't realize Natalia's change of behavior towards Lamo, and thus he calls himself an unhappy father, an unhappy man. He intends on shooting himself or hanging himself. Okay. Then again Natalia says, I am dying, fetch him. Natalia says that she is about to die. So Lamo should be summoned, should be called. Then Shibuko, phew. At once, Daniel runs out. So Shibuko asks his daughter to calm down and stop yelling. She runs away. He runs away to call Lamo. Then Natalia asks her father to hurry. Shibuko returns. So, he's coming, I tell you, and so on, and devil take him. Oh, what a burden. Off. Talk to him. So he is coming and so on. A devil take him. Oof, talk to him yourself. I don't want to. So actually, he was not interested in a relationship with Lamo. So he informs Natalia that Lamo is coming. He does not intend on talking to him and thus asks her to have a word with him herself. Then again Natalia wails. She cries, fetch him. Then Shibuko yells, he shouts loudly, he shouts, he's coming. I tell you, oh, what a burden. Lord, to be the father of a grown-up daughter. I'll cut my throat, I will indeed. We curse him, abuse him, draw him out. It's all you. So what is going on there, children? Actually, he is unable to accept what just happened. He feels that it is both a burden and a curse to be a grown-up girl's daughter. So he wants to cut his throat off, because at the moment they cursed, abused, and threw him out of their house. And on the other hand, they are calling him back to accept the proposal. Okay, so actually he was unable to accept what just happened. He was not willing to call him back. But at last he had to call Lamo back. Natalia, no, it was you. So Natalia blames her father for abusing him. Natalia blames her father for abusing him. Shibuko says, I tell you, it's not my fault. Lamo appears at the door. Now you talk to him yourself. So Shibuko exits. So what is going on there, children? Shibuko clarifies that it was not his fault. When Lamo appears at the door, he tells Natalia to handle the situation herself. I tell you, it's not my fault. So he clarifies that it was not his fault. Then when Lamo appears at the door, he tells Natalia to handle the situation herself. Then Lamo enters exhausted. He was very tired. My heart is palpitating awfully. My foot has gone to sleep. There is something that keeps pulling in my side. So what is going on there, children? Lamo enters completely exhausted. He was totally tired. He doesn't feel well because of his palpitation, because of his numb feet and the pulse on one side. So he was not at all feeling good. He doesn't feel well because of his health problems, palpitation, numb feet and pulse on one side. So Natalia, forgive us. Ivan Vasilevich, we were all a little heated. I remember now, Oxen Meadows really are yours. So what is going on there, children? Yes, Natalia, surprisingly in a completely different tone, she gives clarification for how they treated him earlier. She suddenly remembers that Oxen Meadows are here. Oxen Meadows are his. So what did she say, children? Forgive us. Please forgive us. Ivan Vasilevich, we were all a little heated. We were all little heated. What do you mean by that, children? They treated him and not in a good manner. They treated him in an unfair way. So we all a little heated. We were all a little heated. I remember now, Oxen Meadows, really it's yours. So at last she suddenly remembers that Oxen Meadows are his. She admits that the Oxen Meadows are his. Then Lamo, my heart's beating awfully. My heart is beating awfully, my meadows. My eyebrows are both twitching. So what happened to him, children? Yes, while trying to talk about the meadows, he expresses that his heart is pounding, his heart is beating and his eyebrows twitching. What happened to him, children? Yes, as I told you, he was not in a good mood. He had some ill feelings about his health. So Natalia says, the meadows are yours. Yes, yours. Do sit down. They sit. We were wrong. So at last Natalia confirms that the Oxen Meadows are his and asks him to sit down. Then she accepts her mistake and says that they were wrong. Who were wrong? She and her father were wrong. Then Lamo, I did it on principle. What do you mean by principle, children? Rule. I did it on a principle. My land is worth little to me, but the principle. So Lamo said that although the land is worth little, but he was just acting on principle. But he was just acting on rule. He was, according to the rule, he was just being fair. So Lamo says, I did it on principle. My land is worth little to me, but the principle. Yes, Natalia, yes, the principle. Just so. Now let's talk of something else. So Natalia tells him to change the topic in the hope of bringing up the proposal. Did you understand? Yes, the principle. Just so. Now let's talk of something else. So she tells him to change the topic. What's the reason, children? Because she was in the hope of bringing up the proposal. So in the hope of bringing up the proposal, she asks Lamo to change the topic. The more, as I have evidence, my aunt's grandmother gave the land to your father's grandfather's person. So he does not stop with these clarifications. And again he mentions that his aunt's grandmother gave the land to her father's grandfather's persons. Natalia at last admits, yes, let that pass. Yes, let that pass. Aside, I wish I knew how to get him started. Aloud, are you going to start shooting soon? So she asks him to change the topic. Let that pass. What do you mean by that, children? Yes, she asks him to change the topic. Please change the topic. Then she thinks, how could she bring him to discuss the marriage proposal? See, it was aside. She said something. See, have you seen that word, children? Aside. That means it's for the audience. I wish I knew how to get him started. So she thinks, how could she bring him to discuss the marriage proposal? Okay. Then she asks Lamo loudly, what it is, are you going to start shooting soon? Yes, she asked Lamo if she shall resume shooting, if he shall continue shooting. That means he was too interested in shooting. So she decided to talk about shooting. Okay, children, here comes an end of today's class. I hope you understood the portion. One more part is there. As I told you, I divided the portion into 3. So the first 2 portions have been completed. Children, you have to read the lesson thoroughly. Christmas holidays are there. Enough time. Start your revision. Don't waste the time, children. And make a timetable. And according to the timetable, you have to revise the portion. Okay, children. Thank you. Have a nice day. Don't forget, notes are there. Try to complete the whole notes by these holidays. Okay, children. Thank you.